In this project, we're going to be making a basic bottle with a label. We're going to be making this bottle using like a more advanced combination of tools. Feel free to pause this video or take it slowly. I go pretty fast with these, so this model will take a little bit of time, and I go pretty fast, so make sure to understand everything that I'm doing. So to start, we're going to create a sketch on the bottom plane and a circle with a diameter of 50. Finish the sketch. We're going to extrude this body up 100 mil. Make sure it's a new body. Now at the top of this body, we're going to make an offset plane up 10 millimeters. Now again, if you're not used to offset planes, they go in a construction folder and you can turn it off and on. We're going to create a sketch on the top of this offset plane and a circle with a diameter of 35. Then finish the sketch. From this sketch, we're going to create another offset plane, because you can actually make offset planes off of other sketches. And you're going to make this 70. On the top of this offset plane, we're going to create another circle with a diameter of 25. And then go ahead and finish the sketch. We're now going to use a combination of loft tools to connect these faces. So you're going to go to the Build tab or the Create tab, use Loft, and you're going to select these faces. Make sure to do them one by one, because if you don't, it'll create this like weird face like this. So you're going to want to create this first loft, and then a second loft. Like this. Now we're going to make a sketch on the side profile. Actually, no, before we do that, we're going to actually make this like hollow. Using the shell feature, we can click this top face and type 2.5. Now you can't really see it because of the like body appearance, which is steel, but we actually hollow it out. Now we're going to create the top lip. Click the side, and then press P for project. Then click on this top face. And what the project tool does is it includes that geometry, but in 2D basically on our sketch. So if we project this top face, you'll see it creates two lines. One line for the inner diameter and one line for the outer diameter, which you can see in purple here. We're going to create a rectangle from this inner edge that is 2.5 millimeters on the width and 5 millimeters height. Now that we have this, create another rectangle here with a width of 5 and a height of 3. Finish the sketch and revolve these faces. Click Join. Now that we have this top lift, we're going to use the press pull command to pull this upwards 5 mil. Now, another thing that you could have done is you could have also done this within the sketch palette or the sketch options. So within Fusion, let's say I wanted to make this bigger. I could add a press pull or an offset face, or I could go back into the sketch menu or the sketch edit mode, and I could make this 10. That's a little excessive. I'm going to make this 7.5. Finish the sketch and you'll see it automatically updates. Now, actually I'm going to want this to be a little bit bigger because we're actually going to add threads here. So I am going to make this 10 millimeters. Go to the Create menu and then go to Thread. Thread is a special type of tool in which it'll have two functions. Either a like default threads like this, or you can actually have it model it like this. So make sure to click modeled. Now I'm not going to really go into the types of threads that Fusion uses, though make sure it's isometric. The size, it'll default to whatever the diameter is. So in this case, it'll be 25 mil. And then the designation for this is M25. And then click OK. And you'll see that it adds the threads right here. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to make this look a little nicer. So we're going to do fillets on these edges. And then you can sort of drag it until you get to a position that you like. So 7.5 looks pretty good. We're also going to add a fillet up here, but this fillet will be smaller, make it like 1. Now we're going to create the label. How we're going to do the label is we're basically going to make a very thin cylinder that's hollow. So what you're going to want to do is create an offset plane on this bottom face, and do it up, let's do 7.5. You might have to switch what that looks like. Now you're going to create a sketch on here, and we're going to use the project tool again. So you're going to project that outer edge so we see this circle right here. Now the label we want to be really thin, so make it 0.05. 0.01. This might be hard to select. Click extrude and see if you can select that outer edge, and then you're going to extrude this up 90 millimeters. Make sure it's a new body. Now that we have the label, we are going to assign some texture so we can actually see everything. So press A in the appearance library and then search glass. Once you find clear glass, apply that clear glass to the main part of the bottle. Also type in ABS, and this will be our default texture for the label. Now for the label, we are going to apply text like we see in this model. So you can what we're gonna do is we're gonna use a special feature called emboss, which is pretty much only used for text on faces. So you're gonna make an offset plane 70 millimeters out and create a new sketch on that plane. Then you're going to project this, the label, and then you're going to make. We're just going to make this a profile. Then you're going to go to the create menu, go to text, and you're going to click these top portions right here, the top corners. Make sure to align center and align middle so it's in the center. And then you can select whatever font you want. The fonts are always your default Windows fonts, so if you wanted to add other fonts in, you can do that as well. And whenever you type, make sure to type within these two quotations. So I'm going to type Fusion 360. I'm going to make it bold, and I'm going to press OK. Now the emboss tool is basically used to take text or other shapes or sketch profiles and put them onto a different face. So by clicking the text and then the face, which is our label of course, you can see that it extrudes it out a little bit, 2 millimeters. We're going to change that to a deboss, and we're going to make the depth something small, just enough so that we see different faces, like this. So this deboss is very, very thin, but that's all we really need to see it. Now you're going to go to, now if we want to assign like different colors to that, what you're going to do is you're going to duplicate that ABS texture, and then because Fusion colors are orange, I'm going to make it orange. So you can always go in and edit an appearance. So you just right click on it, click edit, and then it gives you all these properties that you can play with. And then change the apply to setting to faces. Now what we can do is we can go in and we can select each one of these faces in our text. and then we can drag the orange texture to those faces. So now we see only part of our body is orange. Now there's some other things that you could do with this. If you wanted, you could add like designs or patterns that wrap around the entire bottle. You could do that with revolve. In fact, you could model this entire bottle with a single revolve function, but I just wanted to show you a different way to do that with loft tools. Another thing that you can do is if you want to make the top of this rounded, um, you can take the threads, change it from full length. Actually, a better way to do this is to extrude the top portion of this, 2.5, 2 millimeters, and then you can fillet these edges 1 millimeter, and then you'll see that it's rounded. It's sort of hard to see because we're using a glass texture, but it rounds the top edge. Now the bottle's fully modeled. What I want you to do is I want you to try to make your own design for this label. So if that includes adding different patterns, adding different colors, you can do that. You also could play around with the decal feature within Fusion, which allows you to basically place different images on a label. So instead of actually modeling out the text, you could just add in an image that you want.